I was quite happy to leave them singing up there, to be honest. They did a wonderful job, and it's quite funny, Darren. This was not planned at all. I thought I'd give a talk on having a song, and Darren rang me up and said the young people are doing a song or a couple of songs. I'm like, that fits perfectly, and I was pretty excited about that. I was like, none of it was planned. That's not the sort of person I am. If someone rang me up and said, "Can you give a talk on this?" I'd be like, "No." But yeah, very good, and they did a good job. And I guess my talk is about having a song in your heart, how important that is. And myself, I love to sing. It's kind of a new thing, a little bit for me. And I'm not musically inclined at all. I was in year 4 recorder. I went to year 5 recorder, and they put me back to year 4 recorder. I can't read music. I think I can tell the difference between a piano and a guitar. But I just think about the importance of having a song, a spiritual song in our heart. And I used to, when I was younger, like I've always listened to music and that sort of thing, but I always thought gospel music, I was just like, oh, that's a bit weird. And probably a lot of the stuff I would used to listen to, well, not probably, it was like not really that good for you anyway. And but I guess, I used to think the gospel music, like it was a bit strange. I was like, it wasn't cool. And then I guess even being young in the Lord, I was like, well, you don't want to get too much into it. Don't get too charismatic, I guess, And we're not into, flapping our arms around and that sort of thing. But I think it's our songs are super important for us, and to not, feel a bit of emotion in those songs is a sad sort of thing, I think. And I think it's quite important to, these are like praises that we're singing to the Lord, and it's, if you feel something in that, that's a wonderful thing, and it's super important for us to have these, songs in our life and this style of praise. And I guess the thing for me, I went to New Zealand Youngies Camp a few years ago with my kids, and we're in Wellington, and I didn't, I was the tag-along parent. They were going to Youngies Camp. I'm like, I'll just sort of hide in the background, don't want to cramp their style too much. And, when kids are like, oh, Dad's there. But, I went over there. I thought, I'm going to go catch up with Karen's cousins, Todd and Jay Sanderman, live over there. We stayed with them. I'm like, oh, it'd be nice. We'll catch up with all those people and have a good time. And what I didn't expect was to come back from there with this new appreciation of our chorus sessions and singing songs. And if anyone knows Pastor Sasha and Ella, they're wonderful singers. They're amazing, and they write these beautiful songs. And there was one night at the Youngies Camp, Pastor Sasha, he had planned his song-along. I'm like, song-along? And I can tell you, I'll be like, oh, that's a bit corny. I'm like, I didn't want to, I wasn't the sort of person to, in my mind, I'd be like making those, I'm going to go for a kumbaya night sort of thing around the campfire. And but Karen's cousin Julie, she said to me, and we'd been getting into camp, and she's walking past me, she goes, Ben, you do not want to miss this. And I can remember saying that, and I was like, all right. So I begrudgingly sneak along. It wasn't my thing to sit around in a circle singing songs. And I inconspicuously snuck in with my chair, sort of sat in the back corner. And I'm like, and they're like, all the youngies in there, and they're getting into it, And it's growing on me, and I'm melting a bit, and I'm like, this is pretty good. And that I said, that was a vibe. I was into it. But, they're all singing their hearts out. And I kid you not, no one was in there without singing their hearts out. I can tell you by the end of the night, I'm like, I've got a song we can sing. Put my hand up, and everyone gets cracking into it. We're all singing this, I'm like, they're singing my song I picked. It was amazing. And it was, I feel like that night changed my life a little bit. It was a really good night. And you leave there, you're having this big sing-along, and I felt amazing. I was happy. I was uplifted. I'm like, there's all these saints together, we're all singing together, and it was amazing. And, I went for breakfast the next day, and there was this. So it was a catered camp. So it wasn't catered by the saints like we have here. They have a camp there that it was where they stay. It's catered by the place. They have people there that cater for it. And there was this big guy. He looked a bit like me, big beard, but he had a shaved head. And I kid you not, he was stood about there. He was a bit taller than Malik, I reckon. And his name was Garth, and he's like, I don't know what was going on there last night. He's like, but I felt the Lord. It was a religious camp, and he's like, I felt the Lord moving around last night. And I'm like, mate, we were down there. I'm like, everyone, and I know everyone was singing their hearts out. We were all there for the same reason, singing praises to the Lord as loud as we could, sort of thing. And everyone was singing like no one was watching, sort of thing. And I've always been a bit self-conscious sort of person. You may not think that, but I am very quite shy sort of person. I've come out of my shell a little bit these days. But, and I said to this guy, Garth, I was like, mate, that's because we were all there with one accord praising the Lord. I'm like, that's what you felt, that, the Lord, where there was more than, they talk 2 or 3 are gathered. There was a whole bunch of us there, and he could see the testimony of all the saints there, and it was amazing. And so we left there, New Zealand, and I actually came home with a song myself, and we were at Aldinga when we were running the fellowship there, and I'd heard that I'm a Survivor song in New Zealand, and I was like, this is a really nice song. And the youngies, they wrote it in New Zealand, and I thought this is really good. And so I took it back to Aldinga and sort of spoke to a few people, and I know there was others that had already knew the song, but so we decided we'd learn it at Aldinga, and we sang it at camp, and all of a sudden I'm getting into this singing lifestyle, and all of a sudden I've got a song. I'm trying to learn this song, and I don't have the radio on. I'm driving around, and I'm singing a gospel song in my car, and I'm feeling good. I'm happy, and then we get there, and we're like, let's learn a few other songs. So we're learning all these few other songs, and then we're down there, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a new appreciation for, choruses we've sung for years, whereas there would have been times when I was younger, I'd just come in and I might hide up the back, and you sort of sing a bit, and, I hope I don't mind, Mark, I really appreciate, and I just remember, it makes me think when Mark said, he's like, if I'm doing this, I'm getting into it. I just remember in a testimony, if we're going to do it, let's do it with our whole heart, sort of thing. And I love it. I was sitting there today, and I could hear over that side, and I'm like, he's still doing it with his whole heart, and I love it. And he sings really good. I don't know if I do, but I loved the youngies up here, and it doesn't matter what we sound like. I was sitting up there today, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, man, we have cracking chorus sessions in here, and I'm like, if we all just elevate to that, I'm like, imagine what they'd be like. It'd be unreal. It'd be like people looking over the fence. I'd love it. But a spiritual song in our heart, it's such a powerful tool, and it's something that can get us through our day. keeps us happy. It strengthens our spirit, it can strengthen our faith and draw us closer to God. And, it brings peace, it can drive out fear and sadness. And I know some of the other songs that I listened to over the years, which I know Karen, I'm pretty guilty. I'll put the sad songs on and I'll sit there and I'm on the couch and I'm like, and she's like, what's the matter with you now? I'm like, well, I'm listening to the sad songs. So, music, it has this power over different emotions and things like that, and it's pretty important what we feed ourselves on. There's so many good songs around, but if we're feeding ourselves on those good spiritual songs, it just makes such a difference to our day. And we'll look in 1 Samuel chapter 16. You would think I'd get my way there. I'm pretty bad at that. I'll still have to take Brother Brian Harkoff's advice and put a little bookmark in where the scriptures are. So 1 Samuel 16:23, and I don't particularly want to talk too long tonight. I see I've already gone over 10 minutes. So, and this is verse 23. Sorry, I'm in 2 Samuel. 1 Samuel 16:23. Yeah, I was wondering why that didn't look right. And here, King Saul, he's the Lord's, well, it says there, there's an evil spirit from God, so he's very unhappy, no doubt. And it says that it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took a harp and played with his hand, so Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. And before here, so Saul is obviously, he's got this problem with this evil spirit that's vexing him, that's a good word. And, he's looking for someone, and some of the other people there, they're like, oh, cool for this guy. He's really good. He's a godly sort of person. He knows what's going on. And so they called for David to come and play the harp for him. And it soothed Saul. And this evil spirit has departed from him. And, having a nice, sometimes people can sing for us, or we listen to a good gospel song or something like that. Like when these things, they can soothe our soul. They can take that, anxieties, anger, different things. They just change our whole attitude and how we're feeling. Songs can bring joy in tough times. And we can have a look in Psalm 42. Look at that. It tells you where the books are and everything down there. So Psalm 42 and verse 6, once I get there. And it says, "O my God, my soul is cast down within me, therefore will I remember thee from the land of Jordan and the Hermonites from the hill Mizar. Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy waterspouts. All thy waves and thy billows are gone over me. Yet the Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime, and in the night his song shall be with me, and my prayer unto the God of my life." And even in the tough times, when we feel like we're overcome with everything, God is going to command his song, he's going to command his love towards us. That, if we take that and we have that song in our heart, it's going to comfort us through the tough times. And our song is going to be our prayer unto the Lord. And sometimes I thought they say pray. We read stuff about pray without ceasing, those sort of things. And I was like, mate, imagine walking around everywhere just speaking in tongues all the time. People think we're nuts. But and having a song in our hearts, on our lips, that we can sing all the time. We're singing praises unto the Lord all day. It's a lot easier. We can walk around. You can be anywhere. You can sing a song. But we have that, we're singing unto the Lord from our heart. And, you can pray in your head, but you don't always have to sing out loud either. You can hum away. You're like, And sometimes you got like a full-on ballad in your head where you're just like, you're just screaming it out to the Lord in your head. You're just like, oh. So, you know what I mean? It's just, a song is a super powerful, amazing thing that that we can have in our life. And we'll look in Acts 16. Quick, I want to keep rattling through. Sorry, and we'll talk about Paul and Silas when they were cast in prison. And verse 25 and 26. And at midnight Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bands were loosed. And, we can't underestimate what singing a song, like singing praises to the Lord, can do. It helps channel and focus our thoughts on the Lord, that we're, things that can normally drift our mind off and I find with myself, like I never thought I'd be driving around singing a song, but it's incredible. And you end up with a smile on your face, your mood's so much better when you meet people, and the power of that is that, massive things can happen. I know when we had the healing seminar the other night, and Brendan asked if I could sing a song there, I was like, oh boy, yeah, all right. And I asked, there's a few people around who are my safety net when I sing. And I asked a few people, and they were busy and couldn't make it, and I was like, all right, you know what, let's do it. And then I'll give these girls, so we had who'd we have? Chloe, Poppy, and, sorry, I'm trying to think of the other one. Isabella? Bella, that's right. And so we'd been practicing away, and the girls come in and they're like, oh, do you know this song? I'm like, yeah, but I'm singing that song as well. You want to join in? And we all come out, and they're like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to sing, you sing, and whatever comes out. And you know what? Like, it was unreal. The girls did such a good job, and I learned something from there. I learned that I don't need my safety net so much. I've sung by myself before, but I was like, we're just doing it for the Lord, and we're doing it with the right attitude. And some of you might remember I had my sunglasses on that night, and I said I got my eyes sunburned and I couldn't see. Everything looked like I was looking through fog, and I just said when I got up there, I was like, sorry, I got to wear my sunglasses. I've burnt my eyes. I need a healing from this. And by the time I got home that night, my eyes were perfect. I could see everything. So, and I know the Lord healed me. And it turns out I got toxic algal bloomed in my eyes because I was at the beach at Waipinga, which I now found out they've shut it down. But but the Lord, He looks after us. Songs can do wonderful things. We'll just quickly go to Colossians 3. And in verse 14, and above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness, and let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also you are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And, when we've got songs in our hearts and we're here for our big chorus session, and I know lots of us have all got songs in our heart because I can hear you singing. But, we're singing for our brothers and sisters. We're singing praises to the Lord. We're sharpening one another through our song. And, it's just a wonderful thing. I was going to go into 2 Chronicles as well and just talk about, when the army went forth. I'm trying to think who the guy was now, but and he's they sent the musicians and the singers out first, and then the army was defeated without them doing anything. God just did this wonderful miracle. Let's never ever take our songs and our chorus sessions for granted. They're such an important thing that they lift our spirits, they lift our brothers and sisters' spirits, and they can just do wonderful and incredible things. So, I'd just like to leave it there. We're just going to go straight into